We have Acharya Prashant with us.
Acharya Prashant, let's go! Welcome to my reaction series. I'm Cody. Let's get it.
Pop spirituality, it can include anything.
Pop spirituality.
Bananas, tomatoes, potatoes.
I love his
plants of all
word
kinds,
choices.
The state of the moon, the mind running amok, the
Yeah.
mind exercising its right to insanity with gusto. We are all designed to choose comfort over truth. The mic that I am holding right now in my hand is more emblematic of life than any godly figure.
Honestly, he's right. You know, like if you had a gong, you're like dong. That noise is more like life than any figure that we can wrap our brains or minds around. So I love these intros because it kind of shows and showcases what he's going to be talking about. And it's like, you know, insanity of the mind and how it loves to just, you know, stick to it. Vibration is more closer to the reality of life than what we see. Crazy stuff. I can't wait for this episode. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm Cody, like I said. This is my reaction series. We love AP on this channel. We have a lot of AP fans. You guys are amazing. These videos usually get a few thousand views a piece. Sometimes they blow up. Sometimes AP posts them on his Gita sessions, and I always find that to be really super cool and always honored to be a part of that community and part of that experience. But anyway, let's get into it. I'll let AP talk.
We can imagine anything that does not have to do with the I does not fall in the realm of adhyatma, inquiry, not belief. Drop it. Verify it, drop it.
Drop it.
Inquiry is the strategy, self-knowledge is the goal, and self-observation is the moment-to-moment tactic.
Woo! Disclaimer.
Namaste, sir. Welcome to Bangalore. It's good to see you. So my name is Hidesh. I work as
It's
a
good to see him
product manager
smiling.
with Oracle. So a lot of product decisions that we make are data-driven. I'm surrounded with people who are logical.
He looks good in all
rational, ask
black.
a lot of questions before
Good choice,
they arrive
AP.
at any decision. Now, whenever I hear with the word spirituality, I imagine a man
White shoes.
who's
Good combo.
incompetent, running away from the real world challenges, seeking some otherworldly fancies, believing in godmen, superstitions, vibrations, stones, I don't know, pretty much everything. I find this very
Like this
amazing.
guy's energy.
Now, I researched on you, the work that you have been doing. This is completely opposite of the image that I had. So, I really want to know what is spirituality and who's a spiritual man.
Please sit. That's a nice way to begin this session. So what all in the common mind defines spirituality and the spiritual man? Somebody who is incompetent, running away from the world, and believing in superstitions and random mysticism and the occult and such things. Okay. Yeah. See, to some extent it is understandable. When we start talking of things that are not related to life itself, that are not related to the living entity, and are rather about this, that, some other world, some mystical pleasure, some rare enlightenment, then obviously, be it philosophy or spirituality, they get disconnected from this living, beating, breathing thing that we call life, right? Please understand. Right now, you sitting on a chair, material chair.
So what he's explaining here, and he's doing a really great job at it, is I think he's explaining how we have broken the everything down into measurable components of reality, and that's what Maya is. It's not really life itself. It's our own mental constructs that we've all agreed upon. So Maya, the M-A in Maya, the translation for the Ma, the M-A, is to measure. Matrix, Maya, math. We're measuring things and we're not really seeing things for what they are. We're making things singular components, and instead of realizing that it's all part of a complete system. Like, just like you think you're one single entity, one single thing, that you're a thing. But if you look at yourself in a molecular way, you're a whole world. You host a whole world within you, but you think you're this little tiny singular thing. And I think what he's suggesting here is that's how you, that's not life. That's a mental construct. And it kind of tricks you into seeing life in a certain way, a certain lens. So that's where I think he's going with this.
Wearing clothes, shoes, holding a pen in your hand. Correct? This is where we live. And this is where our concerns are. This is life. Our pains, our sorrows, our hopes, our desires, our relationships. That's what constitutes life, correct? Our dilemmas, our livelihood. To be here, to be there, whether to be at all.
Yeah.
That's what life is.
That's what we think it is.
The mic that I'm holding right now in my hand is more emblematic of life than any godly figure we can imagine. This is real. This means something. This has a direct and tangible connection to who I am and what is happening between you and me. Right? But if I say that this mic is the proper subject of spiritual inquiry, it would sound very strange in the conventional sense. Spirituality is not supposed to be about things that you hold in your hand. It's not about the medium that you use to relate with the other. Spirituality rather is about something else. Something else. And now you see from where that word comes. Somebody who's run away from life. A deserter. Do you see this? Somebody who is a recluse. Somebody who is not in the mainstream of life. That's because the common definition of spirituality itself has become very indifferent to life.
Yeah, detached.
Very indifferent to life.
I think that's a trick with spirituality, as we feel, detachment's key, right? But it's full involvement. It's detachment with full involvement, not being tricked by Maya, but knowing where the beating heart of life exists, and you are fully alive, juicy. You have ecstasy pouring from your aura. You got big aura energy. It's not just this pure, unemoted detachment in where you don't recognize the juiciness of everything that's around you, beating with ecstasy, beating with this intensity. And I think that's what he's describing here, is that most who seek spirituality are trying to run away from the juiciness of life, rather realizing that the juiciness of life is life.
And that's the reason why it's important to bring spirituality to where it really belongs. It belongs to us. My life, my existence, my being has to be at the center of all my pursuits. It actually is, always. And spirituality too is a human pursuit, is it not? And
That's
if
cool.
it is as much a human pursuit as science or humanities or arts or anything else that we do, then why should I not be at the center of this pursuit?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
We spend time at office, all of us. You talked of your company or employer. We spend hours there, 8, 10, 12 hours at a stretch. For whom do we go there? For ourselves, right? And then we return to our homes. Whose home? Our home. You purchase something, you drop something. Right? You decide on a course of action. You abandon a course of action. All of that is for our own sake. I'm repeating something that's very obvious, but since it's been missed, hence it's important to re-emphasize. All that we do is for our own sake, is it not? I mean, several of us are wearing specs. Kiska number hai? Not the neighbor's. Right? This device exists for my own sake. Everything in life is for my own sake. If I'm waist 34, I can't wear 38 or 28. Or can I? No. No. Then why does the rule simply get neglected or violated when it comes to spirituality? The problem maybe lies in the word itself, spirituality.
Spirituality.
India has had a much better name, Adhyatma.
Adatma. Adatma. Adatma.
And that translates into self-knowledge, not spirituality.
Self-knowledge. Good word.
Where there is spirituality, there would be all of that which you just mentioned. All the mumbo-jumbo, all the hanky-panky. But the moment you realize it's about self-knowledge, not random things in the world or in the imagination. It's about self-knowledge, adhyatma. You break it down and it literally translates into knowing yourself better or knowing yourself more deeply.
Beautiful.
Hence self-knowledge, obviously through self-inquiry.
I love it. That's a really spectacular way of making spirituality culturally cool. Culture is really important. Culture is a big way of how you shift people's perceptions. And so to make spirituality hip and cool, you need to get hip and cool people involved in spirituality. But again, most people don't really know what that means. But a direct translation is self-knowledge, self-awareness, knowing yourself more deeply. That is, everyone can benefit from that. Thus, everyone can benefit from spirituality. The more spiritual you are, the more hyper-aware you are of how you operate, how you show up, what's going on inside yourself, you know, the insanity that's there, but that you don't have to partake in, like you said in the beginning.
Self-inquiry is the strategy, self-knowledge is the goal, and self-observation is the moment-to-moment tactic, the method.
Method. Great words.
But once it is about spirits, then it moves into a zone.
That's a good point.
That's the worst product
Yeah.
of human imagination and human cunningness.
Yeah. It's really
From
good.
self-knowledge and self-inquiry, it becomes a thing about spirits and ghosts and things that exist outside of the body, disembodied beings, as many
Wow.
are fond of saying.
Wow. Good.
That's not adhyatma, not at all. Maybe that's your own particular fancy. You may proceed with that. And that's a human right we all enjoy. If you want to cultivate fancies, you can do that. But that's not adhyatma. Anything that does not have to do with the I does not fall in the realm of Adhyatma.
It's good. That's good.
And remember,
Spirituality, you think of religion and gods and things outside of yourself, right? That you're trying to connect with. And what he's suggesting is that spirituality is actually not that. It's an inner knowing, self-knowledge. It's all about the self. And that's potent and powerful. So it puts it right back into the center of ourselves. Power from within. Spirituality from within. Very cool.
self-knowledge is a far, far better and more accurate word for Adhyatma than
It's
spirituality.
practical. It's practical. It's
The
not
moment you say spirituality,
airy-fairy.
it starts getting into a very vague, hazy,
Yeah.
nebulous kind of zone where anything goes, because nothing is verifiable and therefore nothing is falsifiable. If you cannot check or verify something, can you ever say it is not? If there is just no way to check something, can it ever be denied for sure? No. And this entire rotten field of spirituality has prospered using things that can never, by definition, be verified. And hence, therefore, can never be proven false. And hence, therefore, can never be dropped. In contrast, please consider, Adhyatma proceeds through the way of negation. Look at the shrieking difference there. Spirituality is about things that can never be negated. How do you, I claim I'm seeing a ghost here, negate? Can you?
No.
Can you? You cannot. That's spirituality. And what is self-knowledge? The very art of ruthless negation of everything that you see as imaginary, as a
Potent.
product of ego.
Dang.
So Adhyatma proceeds through negation. Drop it. Verify it, drop it.
Whew, sexy.
Which, as a corollary, you would see easily, means that Adhyatma would have a deep respect for facts. Facts. And spirituality would have a deep disdain for facts. Now you see why most of the Babas are found mocking the various fields of science. They would say, oh no, your science says that, your science says that. Oh, science is yet to know what we already know. Do you see? It's not just incidental. There's a principle behind it. The principle lies in the dimensional difference between spirituality and self-knowledge. Spirituality is the mind running amok. The mind exercising its right to insanity with gusto.
Wow. So that's what he's calling spirituality. I mean, it makes sense. Everything outside yourself that you're trying to verify, it's impossible, right? And so it's insanity running amok. I like it. I really do.
That's spirituality. Sitting here, because I either lack the sharpness or the courage to go out and inquire,
Go out there.
it requires patience.
Do it.
It requires intelligence. It also requires a lot of nirmamta. Because whenever you would encounter facts, you would find something within yourself getting demolished.
It's true.
So you need to have a certain detachment towards the self if you need to live in facts.
Yeah.
Right? Now I am somebody who has neither of these. It's a choice.
Like a lot of spirituality or is part of our body's memory. And so it's hard to detach or let go of things that feel like you, because your body feels like you. And so this stuff can feel very painful to uproot yourself from something that's been placed upon you, that you've been told is truth. And everyone has their own truth. Maybe it's subjective, maybe it's not. But self-inquiry will determine what your truth is. And I think part of self-knowledge or spirituality, in the good sense, the word that he used, the opposite of spirituality, is sovereignty, is to be able to formulate your own world within. That's totally your own. That's uncorrupted and untainted and unfiltered by everything else that you've been conditioned by. It gives you this freedom. And part of that is detachment, letting go, having less things that you hold on to. Because as children, when you were at your peak of happiness, because most of us found our peak of happiness and ease and laughter and lightness when we were children, where did that go? It went somewhere. And it's probably because the older we get, the more we attach to the illusion of Maya, the more we measure and filter life through a whole different lens as adults. And part of that second word he uses is, I think, the playfulness back into life, that life is this way bigger than we can fantasize or imagine about. That just to be able to operate and be fully alive is mind-boggling. It doesn't make any sense. We try to interpret it and we try to break it down and measure it all, but it just makes us feel fragmented from the totality of what we are. And so it's confusing. It's a paradox. And it's great that he's kind of explaining the difference between real spirituality and false spirituality, pop spirituality, as he says.
It's not something you're born with. It's something that you choose to have. Even if you say it is cultivated, the very cultivation is a decision. I'm somebody who has never bothered to live in facts. But I too feel a certain angst, a disquiet, a hollowness, a discontentment, as everybody else does. So I try to find a cheap route to address that.
Cheap. It's a good word.
That cheap route is what we commonly call as spirituality.
Spirituality.
So,
damn, good episode.
You know, I keep feeling anxious, and my relationships are all going awry. My boss hates me. My wife threatens to run away. All that can go wrong. Everything. So what do? I'm experiencing a lot is wrong with my life, but I don't have the guts to go into the real reasons. Because if I go into the real reasons, I'll find that if I want to correct the disease, I'll have to eliminate the diseased one. I have sensed that my disease is of my own making. Rather, I am the disease.
Yep.
So if I want to take care of my ailments, I'll have to be very harsh on myself. And I don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
We are all designed to self-preserve. We are all designed to choose comfort over truth. No?
I think that's the ego. It's that critical, analytical, always seeking for the worst possible outcome, threat, whatever. That's part of the mind that disillusions us to seeking safety and comfort over actual thriving. You know what I mean? Like, it's that source in us that needs preservation. Whereas I think when you, in spirituality, I'm going to use the word spirituality, you move beyond that ever loud, small, little afraid boy that reduces life to this fearful, anxious state of complex possibilities of endless threats. That's the mind's designed to do that, right? But it's also fabricated, immensely fabricated. And if we stick to it, if we stick to that, we're not the captain of our own ship anymore. The mind is a sword. It can be used to sharpen our lives, or it can be used to self-destruct. And he's got a great point here that a lot of us have given over to the mind, and it's ruining our lives. And this is where personal freedom and self-knowledge is really important, that we cannot allow the mind to trick us into running the show anymore. And that's why I always go back to ease and lightness, because I think that's more spirituality than severity, seriousness, detachment. And so I feel nothing. No, I think you realize that it's all a show. It's all a play. And it's like, if you've ever been to a live performance before, like a play. I love plays or theater. Sometimes you can get really sucked in and you just get lost in the show and the performance, and it's beautiful, right? But then there's another part of you that knows it's a play, and you can tune into that awareness. You can see all the moving pieces. And your life is a lot like that too. You can still enjoy the play. You can still enjoy the dramas. You can still enjoy everything that's going on, but you don't have to take it all serious, all personal. You can really enjoy it. And I think you can also really orchestrate it. But I don't believe that there's anything more damaging out there in the world than your own mind. And so that's why I find self-knowledge, aka spirituality, the most important thing for a quality life. This is why I study it, why I pay attention, because it's easy to get on social media, get involved in the endless news cycles, and go, holy shit, this is a fucked up world. And hold on to that narrative. That it's very damaging. And if we take it all serious, no wonder we're all immobilized. No wonder we're all shrinking inside. No wonder we all kind of feel threatened and bogged down by so much going on. But it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice to see the game for what it is, which I think is more truth, and be able to ride it unburdened, untainted by it. And that's what I feel is liberation. Spiritual liberation is, it's all around you, but you can play in it. You can play in it. I think that's the key ingredient to life, is finding that playfulness, no matter the severity of the shadows of Maya, no matter if you're on your deathbed itself. Like, can we detach and go, wow, that was a ride? I don't know.
No. As we are born. So what do? Everything about me is going wrong. So I'll go to Babaji, and Babaji will give me some fruit, some kriya, some random something, and say, you apply this and things will go right. Sir, is there a causal relationship? Can you please explain? How do I know? How do you know? Maybe I'll fail to appreciate, but at least explain. Maybe a fifth grader would not understand quantum mechanics, but at least an explanation exists. So maybe I'm the fifth grader, maybe I won't get it, but kindly offer me the explanation. There is no explanation. It is totally subjective. If there is an explanation, only Babaji knows. And Babaji says, you too will understand if you surrender completely to me. Now, what kind of condition is this. You are asserting something on me that comes with zero proof whatsoever. And I'm supposed to take that. The miracle is I do take that. I take that because millions of others have been taking that. That's how humanity has been lumbering all throughout its history. And we say, all these things have been happening, and yet we have managed to reach this level of education, prosperity, progress. So obviously we have been doing things right all along the way. No, sir, that's not true. Anything that does not include who you are is not fit to be included in the field of real spirituality. Pop spirituality, it can include anything. Bananas, tomatoes, potatoes.
Pop spirituality is simplified and trendy spirituality spread through social media and pop culture.
Flowers of all kinds. The state of the moon. Name it. Snakes, yeah, obviously. False spirituality is a predator. It feasts upon our ignorance.
Yeah.
And therefore, the more ignorant you are, the more spiritual you are likely to be, in the conventional sense. In the conventional sense. We are talking of pop spirituality here, lok dharma. It's a known stat. Countries, places, or communities that profess to be the most religious also happen to be the most backward.
So we'll just say lower developed countries who don't have high gross domestic product, people are more likely to say that belief in God is necessary to be moral and have values. Okay.
Backward not just as a subjective allegation, but backward in terms of very tangible metrics: education, fertility rate, life expectancy, child mortality at birth, status of women. Status of women. The more religious a place is, the more superstitious it is likely to be. In fact, if you are not superstitious, people will call you a Nastic. He is not a spiritual or religious person, is he?
So we're saying that high degrees of religion and spirituality have a direct impact on people's beliefs in paranormal things, superstitions, things that are outside of them, the I, which are subjective and also intangible. They're hard to disprove, and it leaves you, at least you're confused, and that's why I do like more of a practical spirituality, a self-knowledge and awareness that really centers around our own being and our own states of being. And I feel like that spirituality really is suggesting a, just like the microphone or the gong, this frequency within ourselves to be able to stay pure, light, and effortless despite the turmoil, the stuff going on around us, the Maya illusion. To me, just like in high competitive professional sports, when the stakes are on the line, some people crumble. A lot of people crumble, even at that level. But some people remain so detached from it, but they're so involved in it that they're above the circumstances, things slow down for them. They're more at ease than ever in those clutch situations. And I believe there's a level of spiritual self-knowledge that they're exactly where I think spirituality puts us, above the circumstances, in free and liberated in the moment where they are in full, total control because they've let go of needing to control. They know the moment's there and they're going to arise for it. The more you talk about life, the more it feels paradoxical. It doesn't make sense that to be liberated and free in those moments, there is no control. You haven't attached control to the circumstances. You have a freshness and aliveness, a juiciness, a high state of being where you're just above the moment. Where some people try to control and restrict and they mess up because they're trying to do too much. Some people just flow. They say life is more like a dance, not a destination. That's not some cheesy metaphor. If you really think about it, life is a flow state. It's a flow. It's a never-ending dance. It's not, hey, I got to get to these accolades. That's what the American way is I need to have goals and achieve and achieve and achieve, and I cannot have happiness or contentment until I get X or Y or Z. And so I suffer until I get those. And the weird thing about the mind is when you get to the X, you get to the Y, and then you even get to the Z, there's always another A, B, C, X, Y, Z. You never are fulfilled through that endless trap, no matter how far you go. So you might as well enjoy the dance, the moment, the play, and realize that's where the juiciness of life really is. Yes, we all can have destinations and goals, but you're missing the fragrance of life. There's such a fragrance. I miss it a lot. I'm not perfect. I get trapped and bogged down all the time. I wish I was perfect, but I'm not. And that's okay. And instead of taking it so serious when I do get bogged down, I can just go, there we go. The mind being the mind, it almost got me again. And just realize that it's always going to be there, but to free yourself from it, you just have to let go. There's no need to control it. It will work itself out. It's the attachment. It's when you try to control it. That's where you stick to it. And it just becomes a part of your loop, your mental loop. And so to break free from that mental loop, you just let go of any need to thwart it. You don't need to thwart it. You just need to flow. Get out of that stickiness, that stuckness.
Easy. He's not. If you say you are spiritual, but don't believe in astrology, they'll say, what kind of spirituality is this? If you are spiritual, then so spirituality, real spirituality is the field of self-inquiry. Inquiry, not belief. Not belief. And inquiry involves dispassionate logic.
Dispassionate logic.
And this dispassion that lies at the beginning is also the end. Just that it's a basic principle that if you begin as X, it'll be very difficult to end as Y in the internal journey. If you begin from a point of fear, if you begin investigating or asking or conversing or reading or relating from a point of fear, the end of that relationship or conversation or inquiry will not be fearlessness. If you start from fear, what you do from fear will only beget you more fear.
Yeah.
Getting it? Similarly, if you do not start with a bit of dispassion, you will never reach the end of suffering. That is the That is the target, the right end of all adhyatma. Adhyatma or spirituality is not about the things that you see or read. It's a very pure, very neat discipline, and it's the most fundamental discipline. It starts with the fact, not the assumption or imagination. This is not a field in which we posit. It's not about shooting in the dark or surmising blindly. Suffering is a fact. How is it a fact? We can conduct a survey here. Do you experience suffering? And people will say yes. We are not saying suffering is real. We are saying as living human beings, we experience suffering, right? To that extent, it is a verifiable fact. I can conduct that survey. You too can conduct that survey. You can verify the results I obtained, no?
I love this. I love this. So we're not saying suffering's real, but it's verifiable because everyone in that room suffers. You know, we all suffer. The mind is a tricky little beast, right? But it's not real as well. And when we talk about spirituality, I think the goal of spirituality, the perpetuates of spirituality, is the ending of suffering. I think that's what enlightenment is. Let's get enlightenment out of the clouds, right? Enlightenment is the end of suffering. That's cool. That's a target that we can all self-inquire towards to. That is this leading to more suffering, or is this leading to ending suffering? Am I a little bit more joyful today than I was yesterday? Because that's closer to enlightenment. It's not being bogged down by this mind, this suffering. We're loving this, guys. AP's given us great direction, great practical wisdom.
So yes, living beings suffer. And it is to get rid of this suffering that the field of adhyatma, real spirituality, self-knowledge exists.
We got
there
it, guys.
There is no other objective.
We got it, guys.
Objective. Now, please.
Spirituality is all about ending suffering. Adhyatma is all about ending suffering. That's what spirituality is. It's a technology, an inner technology that's focused on ourselves, not anything outside of ourselves. Listen, you can also boil it down to that yourself is not just you, that you cannot exist without everything around you, the oxygen you breathe. Like, you are part of something way bigger than this physical body. And so even just expanding your awareness of what you totally are, it's incredible to think about how the web of life, the matrix of life, is beyond just this temple that you've been hosted and housed in. Pretty indescribable to think about.
Tell me, is it about running away from the world? Even
Nope.
if you run away from the world, you would be carrying your own being with you, right?
I think it's really good to hear it. I want to share this with you, not to just waste my breath or waste your time, but I feel like life itself is so perfectly orchestrated and in such rhythmic perfection. And you're part of life. Your natural state of being is that enlightenment, the perfect rhythmic life, homeostasis, pure bliss, ease, relaxation. I think that's what enlightenment is. I think it's society, like the webs that we've orchestrated as humanity that makes us endlessly suffer. So it's society and humanity that makes us suffer. It's not life itself, this universe, these cosmos. And so when I can direct myself to knowing that I'm part of the cosmos, I'm part of life itself, and the madness of the mind comes from societies, humanities, weird Maya constructs, that really frees me and liberates for me that I don't have to play by everybody's rules or what you say is right. I think life itself is more truth. And so I always try to gravitate towards that to realize that, man, I'm here. I got the umbilical cord of life jammed right into me. And I don't need anything to complete me. A person, an accomplishment / thing. Like, I'm complete already as is when I showed up here. That's the illusion of Maya, is that we feel separated, but we've never been separated. We've never been not fully complete. We've just been convinced ongoingly that there's something missing, something to accomplish, something beyond ourselves to fulfill. And there's not. Just like as you're a kid, you didn't have this fulfillment, this chart of like going to that trajectory. You just experienced life. Let's get back to that.
So suffering would still be with you wherever you go. Then how can spirituality be for those who decide to abandon anything? I also said that it is the foundation of all disciplines, because irrespective of what you are, the role you choose, the identity you profess, the area you work in, suffering remains, right? You could be young, you could be old, you could be man, woman, you could be working in this field, that field, or not working at all. We all still suffer. Hence, it is the most fundamental discipline, irrespective of what else you are doing. We are talking, for example, spirituality here, and this gathering that we have is not from the field of spirituality. How many of you are from the field of spirituality? Well, nobody. You are from diverse fields. How many of you are from the field of information technology? Oh, okay. How many of you enjoy tennis? How many under 30 years of age? How many love to watch movies? Men and women, obviously, we can see that. Do we see what we are trying to? You come from all kinds of fields, all kinds of diversities. Spirituality is no field at all. It is the foundation of all fields, because irrespective of who we are, where we are, stage of life, economic status, religious beliefs, political beliefs, we all still do, come on please, suffer. So it is this suffering that is at the root.
Gosh darn
all
suffering.
pursuit.
What is going on
And
over
who
here in
suffers?
life?
The I.
The I, the
Therefore,
little old
please,
ego,
Please be careful.
the little old
Whenever
wounded
you are
ego,
dealing
little I.
with words like religion or spirituality,
You hurt my feelings.
or self-knowledge or inquiry, dharma, you know the rest of it. Always ask yourself, where is I in it? Where is I in it?
It's good, actually.
Is this addressing who I am?
Right.
Is this taking me within myself, or is it taking me further into fabled lands of tradition and imagination?
It's beautiful. That's a really good distinction that he spent 30 minutes trying to highlight for us to understand. That, guys, let's get spirituality out of the clouds and let's get it back within ourselves. Does it eliminate our own suffering? Does it eliminate the suffering in others? Can it eradicate suffering? That's practical spirituality, adatma. It's not pop spirituality where, oh, the moon and the lunar cycle and this and the sun and this, and so you're going to have a terrible day. That's removing any potential possibility of you being free of life. It's making you a victim of life. None of us are victims. Man, bad stuff happens, right? Bad stuff happens. But from our limited vantage points, when something terrible happens, how do we even know it's terrible? Like, we don't understand the intricacies of life to even be able to judge a terrible thing for what it is. It could be the best thing that happens to you. Truthfully. So let's stop judging these circumstances that we're in and these things and telling us a narrative that's victimization. Victimization gives you no tools to overcome the limitations in your life. And when I say limitations, I mean the abundance within you. When you feel so limited out there, you feel limited within. And so what we want to do is we want to show ourselves how abundant we are from within. That no matter the circumstances of our life, we can have intense abundance of joy, harmony. I'm a strong-minded man because this is happening and most people are wrecked by it. But you know what? I laugh in the face of danger. It's a Lion King quote. But that's what we want to do, is we want to be able to walk through hell with a smile. I think that's what spirituality is all about.
Let's say you are in the middle of a so-called spiritual process, whatever, some kriya. Ask yourself, has this taken me closer to my fact, not my imagination of myself, my fact, who am I from within? Has it taken me there, or has it taken me further away from myself? And if you are suffering, and if you could be transported to a point away from yourself, you experience a temporary relief from suffering. It feels good. And that's one of the important reasons why the false kind of spirituality has prospered so much. It's the feel-good kind of spirituality. It takes you away from yourself. It's like getting drunk. You don't even remain conscious of your reality. Whereas Atmagyan happens to be a painful process, like most medical processes.
Maybe that's what I was explaining at Ma'agan when I said when you're pulling these things that you've believed in for so long when it comes to religion or spirituality, not to say any path's wrong, but you have to really ask yourself that when you uproot yourself from something, it really does feel like that you're destroying yourself. And so I think that's what he means by painful is that when we see a truth and make it a belief, to uproot that is very, very painful. That's why it's hard for most people to change, even if they're suffering a lot. It's not easy.
When you are taken within, it's not divine energies or cosmic lights or mystical sounds that you encounter. When you will honestly look within, what you will find is stinking trash accumulated over centuries of human existence.
Yeah.
And
that's what I said. It's society and humanity that is made our minds garbage. But it's nature that's in perfect rhythmic harmony. And look at everything in the universe. Its shape, its design, its architecture. It is impossible to describe how perfect it is. So if you are a part of that, then why are we suffering? We've been tricked. We've been duped. You are part of that harmonic existence. thus, I think our natural state is enlightenment. So to know that you have probably been there knows that we can get back there. But you were there in the beginning, I think, if that makes sense. Now we feel, I can't explain it, so I'm going to stop. But I hope that can kind of give you some thoughts on how possible harmony is.
To you via DNA and trading trash. What you will find is stinking trash accumulated over centuries of human existence and carried to you via DNA and tradition.
So it's not just, what you've been cultivated in your own environment and experience. It's literally within your DNA. We think human suffering is like independent, individualized. Guys, it's a collective experience. Like what you are suffering from, billions of others have suffered from too. So that just gives you even more possibility of detaching yourself from the programming, the narrative, the stuff that's in you, that is not necessarily you. You are a universe yourself. So to take everything that the mind wants to project or produce and think it's you or think it's true is insanity. As AP would directly, I guarantee, say as well.
Through birth, through upbringing, through education, and through social influences. All that is present within us. That's what you see when you look within. If you find somebody, for example, meditating with his or her eyes closed, and that fellow has the beautiful mystical smile on his face, rest assured, he is not seeing, he is imagining. When you will see really yourself for what you really are, it'll be very difficult to smile. Very, very difficult to smile. Who smiles looking at his own trash?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we? We don't. Unless
This
there
is
is
very
some
interesting.
special kind of perversion taken hold of us. Then you flush it away, right? That's what you will see when you actually look at yourself. Virtue and vice will become.
I like this because it shows to AP's own experience that he's got a trashy mind too, and that we all have that mental chatter and that diarrhea of the mind, and it's there. And so he's making a joke that if someone is got that smile within, that somehow they're they're using their imagination beyond the trashy mind, which is true. But I also believe that the mind can be loud, but it's not always loud. The mind it's like a river. It's sometimes up, it's sometimes gentle. And when the mind is when the water is murky, yeah, that and you take it so serious, that's when it rushes even more. But when you let go of the severity of the mind, you realize that it's never been you, never will be you, that you're the witness beyond it. That, to me, does allow a lightness, a clarity, an ease, and effortlessness within yourself. That the mind and the world out there, it can have anything going on, but you can remain at ease. So I think it's a little bit of a joke here. But yeah.
Become one. Love and hate will become inseparable from each other. It'll be very difficult to figure out whether your loved ones are loved ones or whether there is something else you have for them. Employment and enslavement might become indistinguishable. These two are there, but they are slowly merging into each other, and I don't know what is what. How do I separate them? It'll become very difficult to quote your employer with that pride. Are you getting it? And since it is painful, therefore most people just avoid it, and rather they choose to wander into the market of Maya.
Pop spirituality. There you go.
Market of Maya. It's an easy way to detect, isn't it? Something comes to you, ask, is it addressing who I am, my identifications, my fears, my ambitions? Is it addressing that? If not, it's not worth it.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Really love this. It really puts an emphasis on what true spirituality is all about. And that's helpful for us all. I mean, that's why we watch videos like this. That's why we study it. And I think spirituality is really a freedom within, an ease within, a technology to move beyond suffering. And am I there? No, I'm not. Gosh darn it. I feel far removed from anybody sometimes. And that can be a trick, right? But we're all just one step away at any given moment. That's the funny thing. That's a paradoxical thing. Some of us feel so far away, but we're only one breath away from total ecstasy. That's how easy it is. But because it's so easy, we don't fully grasp the power of it. Does that make sense? And I want you to fully grasp the power that you can reset, you can recalibrate at any time. And that's beautiful. That's an inner technology that is potent, but because it's so free and so available, it's so overlooked. I love you guys. Thank you so much to AP. Appreciate you bringing this discourse to us, and we can have a great collaboration and experience together. Thank you so much, AP fans. Hope you really enjoyed this one. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care for now, and bye-bye.